Hey y'all, what's up? This is episode 2 of the YouTube series that I'm doing called I Said What I Said. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching. I am super excited. I have a few different kind of fun things that I want to talk about today. Stuff that's going on in wrestling. Let's dive into it. Alright, so the first thing that I want to touch on is something that we were talking about on our podcast this past week. During Dynamite's episode, we were talking about Swerve, right? And so we were talking about Swerve's title reign so far versus Roman's, and kind of like talking about Cody, and it just kind of sparked, like, I just wanted to talk about it for a minute. So I think there's a lot about Roman's title reign that people liked that I just simply don't understand. Like, for example, I personally do not see how a title not being on TV makes it more valuable. I don't really get that. For me, it's more of like out of sight, out of mind. Like, I'll forget about you. I'll be focused on everything else that's going on. And I think one of the things that I like about wrestling is, and I say this a lot to people who are like, who maybe don't understand wrestling, or like, why would you watch it? Like, it's fake, like whatever. I'm like, it's like a TV show. Like, that's how I have always thought of it, is like, it's for entertainment. It's sports entertainment. It's like a TV show. So like, what happens in a TV show? You get updates every like single week, typically. Like, it's a weekly episode. And so if you're going like 2 months, 6 weeks without any updates, like, that's not the main storyline on the show. Like, you're watching Friends and Rachel disappears for 8 episodes. You're like she's obviously not directly involved in what's going on in like the weekly show. Like, that's not what people are focusing on, because she's not there. Like, are people excited when she comes back? Sure, but she's not the main focus. Like, she's not a main part of the show, if that makes sense, right? And like, most shows don't do that. Like, their main person is the main person throughout the entirety of the show. Like, they don't remove them for months and then bring them back for like 2 weeks and then they leave, and then that just doesn't happen. So I don't really get that kind of thought process. But anyway, so some of the things that I like about Swerve's reign, and I wanted to talk about this and kind of relate it to, like, Johnny and I had a conversation a long time ago, and it was kind of about like why I got into doing wrestling content. And I think, honestly, in full transparency, I think I've kind of lost this message over the last like year or two, kind of just like getting caught up in the social media aspect of like wrestling content. But like, when I started making content, a lot of what I got both online and from like people around me was, you watch wrestling? Isn't that for kids? You're an adult. Oh my God. And so I got a lot of that, like, it's fake. Like, you know, we all hear that all the time. And I was just like, it's not that serious. Like, it's literally like watching a TV show. Like, I will never understand it. And so I kind of wanted to, like, basically, I was like, I want to make like wrestling cool again. Like, it was cool when we were kids. Like, when we were kids watching it, like, we thought it was so cool. Like, probably there were probably adults that didn't, but like, I want to make wrestling feel cool again, you know? And I feel like Swerve is a really good champion for that kind of mindset. Like, first and foremost, it's really fucking cool that he is the first Black AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I think that's amazing. I think he absolutely deserves it. He has killed it. But like, he's just so fun to watch, and he has all of the characteristics. Like, he has, you know, the aura, he has the character work, he is diverse in like multifaceted. Like, there's so many different, you know, characters he can play, and like things that he can do. And same in the ring. Also, like, he's got great athletic ability, he is strong, but he can also like do like, you know, some flippy shit and like that kind of thing. And I just think he really represents what makes wrestling cool. For example, whereas Roddy Strong makes it rough to watch. I fucking hate him so much. And I think, in total transparency, like, I don't even really know how to like make wrestling feel cool again to people. Like, I don't really know how to do that. But one thing that I have noticed, 2 things actually that I have noticed since getting into content, was, first and foremost, I have gotten the people around me more into it. Johnny's best friend was just here last night, and we were hanging out with him and his girlfriend, and he's like back into wrestling now, where like he was when they were kids, and then he stopped, and now he's watching again, and now his girlfriend's getting into it, and like she has wrestlers that she really likes. Shout out Dom, she got great taste. But like, so now like they're getting into it, and it's cool and it's fun, and it's like he wants to like go to shows, he wants to go to SummerSlam if we can like do that, you know. And so I think that's one like really cool aspect of it. And then on the flip side, I love the community that we have built as TTP, like Triple Threat Pod. We have built, like, because we have a lot of stuff, like, for anybody who doesn't know, like, yes, we do YouTube when we do the podcast, but we also have a Discord, and we have a Patreon, and it's, like, one of my favorite things in the world, because we have the coolest fucking group of people in there, and it's so much fun. And a lot of these people are, like, people we're genuinely, like, friends with, and, like, we care about, and we talk to each other. And I have gotten our, like, anniversary of TTP's, like, the actual pod was in October of last year. I think it was, people were sending messages, like, thanking us for, like, creating, like, this kind of space. And I don't remember if it was, like, Thanksgiving or the anniversary or whatever it was, New Year. But people were, like, sending all these messages, and there were, like, people who wrote paragraphs about, like, this is my safe space in wrestling. And they're, like, basically, like, I can be a super fucking nerd about wrestling, and, like, no one cares. Like, it's totally fine, and people will do it with me. And I think, in a way, that kind of created that. But that is what I just, like, that's what I just want wrestling to be. Like, just wrestling fans in general. I know that that's impossible, that that's never going to happen everywhere, because people suck. But I just don't think that Roman represented that. I just don't think he, like, he's a cool character. I don't think he necessarily represents, like, making wrestling cool again, because he didn't really wrestle that much during his, like, the last how many months, years of his title reign. I don't even know if, like, Cody necessarily represents it, but I think somebody like Swerve absolutely represents it. I think somebody like Kevin Owens or Randy Orton, I think they definitely do. The Street Profits, Bianca Belair, Jade, like, I think all those people make it fucking cool. And I think one of the best things about it is, like, that there's so many wrestlers that are, like, from different backgrounds, like Bianca being, like, this crazy fucking athlete that she was, and then, like, she comes into wrestling, versus, like, Maxine was a dancer her whole life, and now she's in wrestling. And just, like, a lot of different kind of things, and, like, backgrounds coming into wrestling, where it's really just, like, this kind of cool space that anybody could be in. And then next segment, transitioning, speaking about not fucking cool, y'all, what is up with Pat McAfee? What is wrong with this man? What has happened to him? Because I feel like as time goes on, this man is annoying me. And it's a 180, because when he first, like, jumped into WWE, and I, like, really got to learn more about him and, like, watch his podcast and his show and everything, I was like, I fucking love this man. Like, he's funny, he's relatable, he made wrestling cool, he made wrestling fucking cool. I was so fucking down for Pat McAfee. And it's like, as soon as he started having Aaron Rodgers as a regular on his show, he, like, went to fucking hell. Like, I don't know what is going on with him, but he is, like, he's getting kind of annoying. He's getting, like, a douchebag vibe, almost like a douchebag aura vibe thing going. I don't know what's happening to him. So I think the first one, like, the first example was basically somebody had tweeted at Pat regarding, I think it was a current Colts player or, like, a previous Colts player, something like that, whose, like, parents had passed away or something, and they were, like, struggling financially or, like, whatever. And so this person, like, tweeted at Pat and a couple other people to be like, can you help them out, whatever, like, their, you know, family, Colts, whatever, they, like, worked for the Colts or something. And Pat was, like, fucking pissed about it. And he basically, like, not saying it directly like this, but basically implied, like, well, now that you tweeted it at me, I feel like I have to, like, what if I didn't want to, kind of thing. And it was just really fucking weird, because, like, my first thought was, like, dude, if you didn't want to, like, do anything, just, like, ignore it. Like, if it was that big of a deal, just, like, pretend you didn't see the tweet or something. But, like, that was the first thing. And then the, like, podcast episode that he did after that, he sat there fucking talking about it and like trying to defend himself for a solid like 30 fucking minutes straight, and just like wouldn't shut up about it. Like, he couldn't handle the backlash that he was getting for like being rude about it. And I think I always said like it was probably because like he was so beloved, and like, not that he's not now, but like he was so beloved as like he could do no wrong. It was like Paul Rudd status. Like, he could do literally no wrong. Everybody liked him. Everyone thought he was funny. Everyone liked his show. And it was like finally people being like, no, like that was a dick move. Like, you kind of fucked up. And he could not handle it. And it was just so cringy to watch. Like, I was just sitting there, I was like, literally, like, just move the fuck on. Like, you're talking about it for way too long. It's weird. So that was like the first thing. And then the second thing was he's having Aaron Rodgers on. It was like every like Wednesday or every Tuesday. Every Tuesday he had Aaron Rodgers on. And at one point, Aaron Rodgers was going like super hard, like anti-vax, this, and that. And like Pat was kind of like having his back on it a little bit, or like at least definitely not like going against it or like something like that. And people were kind of like, okay, think enough is enough. Let's get Aaron Rodgers off the motherfucking show. I'm pretty sure he still has Aaron Rodgers on to this day. I just don't know how often it is. I do not watch his show on a weekly basis anymore because it's exhausting for me to watch. But it was just a lot. And then the most recent thing, this was like strike one, strike two, here's strike three for me. I'm kind of fucking out at this point. He called Caitlin Clark that white bitch. What are we doing? Like, what did she do? What did she do? Literally nothing. Because he wasn't even, like, saying that she did something wrong. He was just talking about, like, the hate that she gets, which I don't understand. I don't super follow the WNBA, like, very closely. So if I'm missing something about, like, Caitlin Clark is this awful person, somebody please let me know. But I don't get it. All I've really seen is that, like, she's basically been, like, in interviews trying to be like, yep, keep getting smacked, keep getting hit, don't know what to do about it, and, you know, that's just what it is. I did see this one player, I don't know her name, it was like a week or so ago, and she like fucking trucked Caitlyn, like for nothing. Like, nothing happened that I saw, nothing happened. She just fucking like slammed into her, and Caitlyn went down. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I don't know if I'm missing information about, like, does Caitlin Clark suck as a person? Because I haven't seen anything that's like come off as like mean or like bitchy. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what has happened to Pat McAfee from like 2 years ago to now, or like whenever he started in WWE to now, but like he gives like this like kind of mean, like douchebaggy, cocky, weird, smug vibe that I'm just not a fan of really anymore. And like even on commentary, like a lot of the stuff on commentary is like he's still funny. I still enjoy him in WWE. Like, it's not like that dramatic, but there are times where like we'll be on the podcast and I'm like, shut the fuck up, Pat. Like, just stop fucking talking. Like, let's not do that. And it's just like a really weird vibe. So I guess I'm just kind of like, am I the only one that's like kind of feeling that way? Am I the only one kind of like irritated by Pat McAfee lately? And maybe it's only if you watch him outside of WWE, because if I didn't watch his podcast, I wouldn't know any of this information. So maybe I just have to stop watching his podcast, which actually I already do. I don't really watch it anymore. So maybe I just answered my own question. But like, is it just me? Just like someone tell me. Okay, and then so the next thing I wanted to talk about, I have my notes over here of like things that I want to talk about, because I try to like plan it out. Like, I do this like bi-weekly, so I try to plan it out as I go. And I made a note to talk about the press conferences being canceled, and then they literally just fucking did one for Clash. So I'm fucking confused. Like, is WWE canceling press conferences going forward or not? Because I don't understand what's happening. It's very, very weird. But like when they first, okay, so if they do, let's do this hypothetically. If they are genuinely, like when the news came out they were going to cancel, I was literally, my first thought was like, TKO pulled the plug because Triple H fucking sucks at press conferences. Because he keeps getting so much like shit and backlash for being ignorant as fuck in his answers. And it's so funny to me because like the wrestlers are answering questions better than Triple H did. Like for the lawsuit and everything, like Cody had a great answer. And like genuinely, I think like I can't talk about it was a way better option than like, that's a little negative. We don't really want to worry about that, you know, right now or ever, you know, at all. It would be fucking crazy to me. But anyway, so press conferences, I guess, not being canceled. So I'm wondering kind of where that came from, because like I'm trying to remember if it was Fightful that reported it, because Sean is never wrong, so it must not have been Fightful. I almost wonder if they should cancel the press conferences, or at least like maybe don't have Triple H take questions. Because it's just not. I think literally, I didn't watch the Clash one, but like the last, I think 3 in a row, he like said something fucking stupid or obnoxious, and it was like ignorant, annoying. I'm pretty sure he pissed me off at least once in the last 3 each of the last 3 press conferences. So maybe it is best that they just kind of do away with those. I know I really like AEW's for the most part. I know they've had a couple of like comments and people are like, meh. About, I think people didn't like that Tony answered an allegations question, I believe, or like a lawsuit question with like Toni Storm put like a funny like disguise on him, like she put like a wig and like or her glasses or something on him, and he answered the like very serious question with those still on, and people didn't like that, which I hear. I don't think it's as big of a deal as being like, hey, that doesn't really matter, we don't care right now. But I hear that out. And then I know Toni Storm made like a joke implicating like Cody Rhodes, and I feel like Cody didn't love that, or like people thought he was mad about it because of something he tweeted or whatever. But I really like AEW's press conferences. I like the press conference idea in general. I just feel like maybe it's not for WWE, or at least not for Triple H. Because it's just like, he's got to prep for it, right? Like, you got to think like he's prepping for it. He's like expecting these questions to come up. So like, why would you not like prep an answer, or like have an idea of what you're going to say? Or if that's, I guess maybe that was his prepped answer, which is just, that just makes it worse. But yeah, anyway, so thoughts, yes, no, how do we feel about press conferences being canceled? I'd like them to continue to do it, because I think it's cool, and I like the setup of it, and I like being able to like ask these wrestlers questions. And of course it gave us the most iconic Cody Rhodes Jey Uso press conference moment ever, which I still say, do you feel him, sir, to this day. So I really like them. I hope they keep them. I just think they need to maybe have somebody who's not Triple H do it, or like maybe Triple H just like introduces it, but like Triple H doesn't take questions. Maybe it might be good for them, because he clearly can't handle it. He can't do it correctly. So, all right, y'all. And my final segment of this episode of I Said What I Said is going to be something new. It's going to be something fun. It's going to be something that we kind of talked about on the podcast. The podcast gave me the idea for this. But we're going to talk about wrestling's most unlikable faces. Let's dive into this. All right, starting off with WWE. First and foremost, y'all should have known that this was coming the second that I said what this segment was going to be. Logan Paul. Now listen, I did a TikTok being like, wrestlers and their doppelgangers. I put Logan Paul in a trash can, and a lot of people said it was fucking funny, okay, because it's accurate. But just like genuinely, and I know a large part of it is probably because like we all know what he is as a person. Fucking sucks. But like, I just like, I look at him and I'm just fucking irritated. Like, he is just like the epitome of like that irritating, won't shut the fuck up, overly cocky douchebag. Like, there's no other way to put it. He is just like the stereotypical really irritating YouTuber person who like thinks he's cooler and funnier than he is. Now, to be fair, if I'm going to be a nice person and give like almost a compliment, it's part of the reason that he kind of works, at least his character work is acceptable in WWE and in wrestling, is because like he is a person, is a heel. Like, that was why like for so long he wanted to be a babyface. I was like, you're so fucking dumb. Like, obviously you're dumb, but like, you're so fucking dumb. If you literally just like be yourself, you're a heel, and it would work and it would fit. And look what happens. Now he finally gave in, stopped being a dumbass. He's a heel, and it's kind of working. I don't think I'll ever get invested in him. I just don't think I'm ever going to really give a fuck. But regardless. But like, tell me that face isn't annoying. Right? Right? Okay. And may I add, no, I did not watch Logan Paul interview Donald Trump. And don't fucking ask me why. The question answers itself. Logan Paul, Donald Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? No. 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 Next up, I got back-to-back NXT dudes here. So if y'all don't watch NXT, maybe don't listen to this because this is definitely not going to make you want to watch NXT. So this guy is Andre Chase, for anybody who doesn't know. Now, me personally, I know that Chase University is one of, the biggest things in NXT probably ever, or at least in the last few years. It's fucking huge. I am not, in any stretch of the imagination, a Chase U fan. It's just not for me. I have always especially hated Thea Hale because she's just so much high energy and like annoying to me. Although I did talk about this and I did love her shut the fuck up thing. That little speech, that like minute and a half, iconic. Great. I was like, I could actually like that version of Thea Hale, so if I could get a little more of that, that would be great. But this guy is Andre Chase. He like runs the university or fucking whatever. I just can't stand him. He looks like an annoying dog. And I don't really know how to like explain it. Like, he looks like a dog, but not a cute dog. I don't know. He just bothers me. Something about him bothers me. I don't really know what it is. It might be the fact that he's in like a Chase University, like a university storyline, and he looks like fucking 38. That's also weird. WWE, maybe we move on from that. But anyway. Next one, Lexis King. Now listen, I know a lot of people do not like him. I am one of those people. Okay? I am one of those people. I hate this. This is like, it's the weirdest, most uncomfortable looking thing I think I've ever seen. It's at least up there. It's top 5 weirdest looking like things on a person I've seen. I don't know who's telling him like that looks good, you should keep that, but that needs to go. It needs to go right now. It needs to go. To make it worse, I don't know if y'all know what like his fans, like all 4 of them, call themselves. They call themselves Lex offenders. It says a lot. It says a lot. I don't even need to deep dive into that. I don't need to say anything else about that. I think that is self-explanatory, and he creeps me out, and he's weird. And I don't like it. And then the final one, I'm only doing 4 for WWE, 4 for AEW. So the final one for today, listen. I know I talk a lot about this man, but Tama Tonga, listen. My first problem with him is the fact that he is so much smaller than everybody around him and yet is somehow supposed to be the enforcer. It literally just doesn't make sense, and I'm not with it. I'm not into it. I'm not down. I don't like it. It bothers me. It bothers me probably too much, but it bothers me, and I don't like it. And second, I have heard that a lot of women really like him. I don't get it. He almost looks like plastic to me. A little bit. Like, his face looks like pretty symmetrical and all, but like it just like something about him bothers me. Although I will say that we did add his little like chompy thing as a channel points like reward redemption thing on the podcast, and so I do it like 5 times a podcast now, and it's actually so fun to do. It's like, it's great. But yeah, I just like something about him just like he bothers me. Like, I'm not mad about it, but like I'm irritated. I'm feeling annoyed when he pops up on screen. I can't really explain it. All right, moving in to AEW. I think I feel way stronger about these 4 faces than I do about the 4 in WWE, except Logan. But let's dive into this. The first one, Buddy Matthews. I cannot stand this man. Sorry, not sorry. I said what I said, okay? I cannot stand this man. He does not impress me. I do not like him. He just fucking, like, grinds my gears, bro, okay? Grinds my fucking gears. I can't stand him. Just fucking drives me insane. Like, I just literally can't stand him. I can't stand anything about him. I'm not impressed by him. I've not enjoyed pretty much anything he's done. It's just not for me. I just can't stand him at all. Next, Serena Deeb. Now listen, this bitch and I, we go back. We go back to when she was out here being a bald bitch, hyping up CM Punk. Okay, I got beef with her. Long time beef with her, okay? Because I remember her being in that straight edge society bullshit. And as a child, I fucking hated her. And I've decided that I'm carrying that on to this day. And so I refuse to root for her. She also just bugs me, and I don't like her character. Like the professor, like what is happening? That's not a nickname. Like that's not like a fun, it's not like a character. Like I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like she's not a bad wrestler, but like I can't stand her. I can't stand anything about her. These last two are probably like I give probably two of my strongest reactions to these people. First one is Roderick Strong. Listen. I shit talk Undisputed Kingdom so much, and it will not stop. It will not end, because I literally can't stand them. I can't stand anything about them. I have said, and I stand by, I genuinely think that the like masked men with the devil being Roderick Strong, like the Kingdom, I think is one of the most underwhelming reveals or like moves in all of wrestling history. I literally could physically feel my body being let down when they took the masks off. Listen, Adam Cole, I could accept that. I like Adam Cole. I like his work. I think he's great. And I see him being the devil. I love that with MJ. I was down for all that. I was sitting there like, please be anyone else. Wardlow makes sense. But like, Roderick's just fucking dumb. Like, I don't care if he's a good wrestler. There is just like, he just irritates me. And I promise you, before people start commenting this, I don't care what he did in Ring of Honor or anything else. It's not like, you're a great heel heat. It's like, please get off my TV. Like, I see him and the other two, and I'm immediately fucking annoyed. And I'm like, Maria, come get your husband. Come get him off my TV. I can't stand them. And the mustache, oh my God, make it stop. And then finally, Nick Wayne. Listen, Nick Wayne gives me PTSD in ways I can't explain. He literally just like, he just looks like every awful fucking human being, douchebag, asshole, ignorant, rude, mean, fucking like 18-year-old, like that fucking jock in high school that like thinks he's 10 times cooler than he is, and you just want to fucking knock him out. That is Nick Wayne. He looks like that. He's got that smug fucking look on his face. He dresses like that. The hair is like that. It's like football player meets lacrosse meets like kid who sits on the bench and still thinks he's good. Like, it's a mix of all that shit. And I just literally can't stand him. I think this is probably my number one. Like, I can't stand him and his face. It's infuriating. I just can't stand anything about him. All right, y'all. I am wrapping up this episode of My I Said What I Said. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to go record the second half of this that is going on our Patreon, tiers 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to be talking about some more wrestling things, some tribalism, WWE, AEW, NXT, some veterans, some free agency stuff. I'm going to be talking about Jeff and TNA. And I'm also just going to kind of do like a personal life update kind of thing and talk about some random shit that's not wrestling, because I like to do that sometimes. Keep some things fresh, you know? So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys maybe on the Patreon, and I will see you guys on the podcast for Wednesday.